Suspensions. During this video on suspensions, the technique for pre-calibrating a bottle and the correct method for compounding a suspension will be discussed and demonstrated. Pre-calibrating a bottle. When compounding a suspension, it is necessary to pre-calibrate a bottle. Calibration marks imprinted on plastic bottles are not accurate for compounding, but are acceptable to use for dispensing commercial products. To pre-calibrate a bottle, use a graduate to measure the amount of purified water equal to the volume of the suspension to be compounded. In this case, 100 milliliters was measured. Pour the water into the bottle in which the suspension will be dispensed, and using a grease pencil, mark the volume at the bottom of the meniscus. Finally, empty the water from the bottle. Do not pre-calibrate a bottle when compounding a solution. It is more accurate to QS the solution in a graduate. Compounding a suspension. When compounding a suspension, it is preferable to use a Wedgwood mortar to achieve a greater reduction in particle size. Have all the chemicals weighed or measured prior to beginning to compound the suspension. For this suspension, sulfur, isopropyl alcohol, a 4% weight to volume methylcellulose solution, and purified water will be used. Add the insoluble solid to the mortar and triturate to reduce particle size. Then add the wetting agent. In this demonstration, isopropyl alcohol is used. Triturate to further reduce the particle size. Scrape the sides of the mortar and pestle to ensure uniformity of the triturated powder. Once the particles are dampened and reduced in size, the suspending agent can be added. For this preparation, a 4% solution of hydrated methylcellulose is used as a suspending agent. When measuring, use a graduate closest in size to the volume of methylcellulose needed. It is not possible to measure methylcellulose with absolute accuracy due to viscosity. However, as it is not an active ingredient, that is acceptable. To form the suspension, add the methylcellulose in portions, triturating between each addition to uniformly coat the drug particles. Once all the methylcellulose is added, the suspended drug particles will be too thick to pour. To render the suspension pourable, purified water, or any thinner liquid that is in the formula, should be added in small portions, triturating between each addition until a pourable consistency is achieved. Pour the suspension into the dispensing bottle, then use the technique of mortar rinsings to ensure the majority of the drug has been moved to the bottle. Mortar rinsings involves pouring a small amount of any thinner liquid that is in the formula, generally it is water, into the mortar. Use the pestle to swirl the liquid and remove any drug particles from the sides of the mortar. This is then poured into the pre-calibrated bottle. Repeat the mortar rinsings until the majority of the drug particles have been removed from the mortar. Use caution not to add so much that the suspension goes above the pre-calibration mark. If necessary, QS to the final volume with purified water. Cap and shake the bottle to ensure a uniform suspension. Don't forget to erase the pre-calibration mark before dispensing the product. In summary, pre-calibrate the dispensing bottle when compounding a suspension. Use a Wedgwood mortar to compound a better preparation. Use mortar rinsings to ensure all the drug has been moved to the dispensing bottle. Do not forget to erase the precalibration mark. This concludes the video on compounding suspensions.